Hey guys, welcome back to another CSS tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be explaining how to use media queries in CSS. Now, media queries are actually really useful because what they allow you to do is create a responsive website without having to introduce JavaScript or really do anything complex at all. So they basically allow you to just differentiate between different screen sizes or screen types in CSS without having to, do any complex logic, and this is super useful when you're making a responsive website which wants to look good on mobile, and also websites like browsers, desktop PCs and tablets. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys a basic example of how to use media queries. Here it is. And yeah, so let's say we have some CSS. So for now I'll just show you how to differentiate between them, and then I'll show you a practical example later on. So let's say our body has a background color of red by default, right? And obviously this is its default background color. But let's say when you want on mobile, we wanted the background color to be blue for some reason. So the way you would do that using CSS media queries is as so. First of all, we do the @media decorator to show it's a media query. Then we use the only screen keyword to show we only want to target only looking at the screen. And then we used our key. In this case, it's going to be device width, I believe, or it's going to be max width, and that's pretty self-explanatory. It's just the max width of the screen. So that basically means, what this actually means is any device, it's saying it's going to be in the range from 600 pixels, 600 pixels to 0 pixels is what this is saying. If we had used min width instead, then the range would actually be 600 pixels plus. So that's what max and min width mean. That's the sort of difference. Let's just put labels next to them. Okay, yeah, so of course we want to target devices which have a pixel range in a range 600 to 0 pixels, because that's generally where mobile phones are going to lie. It's going to be a bit less than that, but this is just a general explanation. So I'm going to use max width 600. Now what I can do is I can just change the background color key for the body, and you should notice that inside this media query, it's almost like you're initializing another CSS file or area, if that makes sense. So you can just tag another body, and this is just going to add on to the styles which you've already added here. So let's say we wanted something like background color blue. Okay, yeah, so now when we have a width which is in this range 600 to 0 pixels, we're going to change the background color to blue, and you can see that happens there. So that was quite useful. This allows us to differentiate between large desktop or tablet screens like this one, and then when we reduce the size down, we get to the mobile screens. Now I can show you guys how to add a few more breakpoints. So let's say we want more media queries, and only screen again. And so we've already handled the range for 600 to 0. But now let's handle the range from, let's say, 600 plus. So, and min width 600. So what this will do is this will effectively cancel out this, because these two are almost like an if-else statement. Like, this is just going to run if this is not true. So you'll never see the background color as red anymore. But if we make this something like, let's say 800 pixels, and now you can see this is in the range. I'll just give it a range. This is in the range 800 pixels plus. So our red, which we defined earlier, is still going to be active in the range from 800 to 600, like so. and if we were to make this max, then this is probably going to go from 800 to 600, I believe. So okay, no, so now this is just using the orders. Let's see yeah, okay, yeah, so that makes sense. So what you want to do, if you're going to create breakpoints like this is your default, and it's kind of like an if else statement from there. So this is max with 800, so that's going to be 800 to 0 pixels, and then it's just going to go down in order. So let's say this screen has currently a size of about 750. So first it checks if it satisfies this, and it does, so it's going to apply that. Then it checks if it satisfies this, and it doesn't apply to this, so this isn't going to get checked. But if we reduce this even further, now let's say this has a width of 400 or something, or 500. Now if we go through this, it's going to satisfy this, so it's initially going to set it to green, then it's going to check this, and it's also going to satisfy this, so it goes to that. So you need to make sure you get the order of these correct. Like as you saw, when I swapped the order of these two, it no longer worked because it checked this, set to blue, but then it checked this as well, and it checked it, it applied this. So the general rule of thumb is to make the most general arguments or the most sweeping arguments at the top, and then work your way down. Now I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to try and show you guys a more practical example. So let's say we have a div, and this has a lot of data in it. Let's just add some text, and I'm going to give this some default thing. So let's give it background color of green. And now you can see, let's say when we're on a large screen like a computer or a tablet, we want it to have a width which only takes up half of the screen. So let's just give it some dimensions, give it a height of auto and a width of 50 feet width to take up half of the screen. So it takes up half of the screen here, but then as we reduce it all the way down, as it goes really far down, we want this to have a smaller width, right? Oh sorry, a larger width, because now it's simply too small, like you can't really read it properly. So when we reach the mobile screen sizes, we want to make the data container, we want it to take a width of 50, or let's say 90 view width, so that it's basically taking up the full screen. And yeah, you can see now you've just created a responsive design. So this is only going to take up 50% of the view width when it's in a larger screen format, but then as you get smaller, closer to the mobile or at mobile screen size, it's going to take up the full width. Obviously we could also just hide it when it gets to mobile by just doing display none, so now it's just going to disappear when we get to mobile, like that. But yeah, that was just a simple responsive layout, and this is the basic premise of how responsive layouts are made. Now I'm just going to talk about one more key before we end the video. So this is going to be the orientation key, and this is pretty simple. What it does, it just checks if the device is in portrait or landscape orientation. So instead of using the max or min width, and obviously there's so many more keys, this is just a basic introduction, and I'm just going to show you this key now. So orientation, when it's in landscape, we can say we want the body to have a background color of blue, and if it's not, then it's just going to take the default, which is portrait. So currently this is in portrait. The way it calculates it is by seeing if the height is greater than the width, then it's portrait, otherwise it's landscape. So if we move it here, this is currently landscape, and now it's portrait. So I'll show you guys this on a proper iPhone. If we were to bring this up, and let's just go to Safari, copy that, and we will just paste that in. Okay, so you can see currently it's in portrait. Wait, let me just reload that, because that actually shouldn't be happening. Okay, so that's odd. Maybe the iPhone simulator is not working properly. Okay, but at least we can still see that the width of the thing of the div container or the data container has been adjusted accordingly. So let's say this was our website version and this is our phone version. You can see the phone version has the data container only taking up about 90% of the screen, so that's good. Not too sure why the this hasn't worked. Let's see if we change this to portrait. Yeah, I'm not sure why these media queries aren't working well on the iPhone simulator. Maybe it's just an issue, but this usually works. Like if we make this landscape, so you can see it's working perfectly on desktop. This seems to be a recurrent issue for media queries, how sometimes they aren't fully supported, but that could just be an issue regarding this orientation key. So yeah, I'm just going to remove this for now. But oh, okay. Actually, I know what problem I made. It's because we've set the background to blue here, and so it's never going to change if it goes there. Okay, this makes sense. Okay, so let's just remove this for now, and now you should see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so it was just a mistake on my part, but basically what happened was this media query was being activated, so this one wasn't actually happening at all, which is why I was just constantly being set to blue or red. So yeah, now you can see the portrait and landscape key in action. You can see when it's portrait it's blue, when it's landscape it's red, and also notice how the width goes back to 50 because I'm assuming this is greater than 600 now. But yeah, thanks for watching. This was how you use media queries in CSS. See you guys in a future tutorial. Bye.